As we find ourselves in the midst of World War III being fought in hospitals across the world today, it humbles me to be amidst medical soldiers who are relentlessly fighting day and night to restore peace and well-being to humanity. You are the gatekeepers between life and death. You are the true healers and saviors. You are the family and friends of all those lying in quarantine in critical care. Some years ago, the Harvard School of Public Health did a survey on what makes a good doctor. Surprisingly, the top criteria had little to do with competence and more to do with emotional and spiritual intelligence. Having empathy, being a good listener, having humility, and honoring the patient's values were rated much higher than competence and effectiveness. This, I guess, is in part also because most people simply assume that doctors meet a certain threshold of intelligence, knowledge, and judgment. Therefore, what truly differentiates good doctors from mediocre ones is the soft stuff, the old-fashioned, gentle bedside manners, the compassion, the care, the personal touch. So when a COVID patient looks at you, remember, he doesn't only see a doctor, he sees in you his entire universe of love, and his heart wells up with gratitude, with respect, maybe even veneration. When you attend to them, open your heart to receive their love, for it will inspire and energize you. Look at them with compassion. Let your gaze become a mystic's Shaktipat that dissolves their fears and heals them. Let your touch comfort them so they are no longer scared or alone. If they survive, they will remember you and bless you for years to come. And if they die, yours could be the last loving face they will see. And because you have committed yourselves so selflessly to others, the keepers of karma will ensure that your family and loved ones are taken good care of by the Almighty. So don't worry about not being there for your families at this time. Don't let that guilt corrupt the purity of your service. While you work round the clock, know that God is doing the same to keep your loved ones in his personal care. It is equally important for you to take care of yourselves. You are surrounded by so much grief and pain. When you absorb that through empathic resonance, it can make you sad and despondent at times. Unresolved grief is very important to address. A recent McKinsey survey states that such unresolved grief becomes a quietly destructive force that derails leaders. So it must not be ignored. By recognizing the ways in which the pandemic is fueling grief and loss, and in your case, it could be the loss of time spent with your families, the lack of attention. So leaders, organizations, and you yourselves must take steps to transform this grief into a creative force that turns loss into inspiration. I'd like to suggest a simple visualization practice that can help you clear your energy field of this negative empathic resonance. Before you reach home each night, imagine your entire aura is being washed by a strong spray of water from a powerful garden hose pipe. See yourself and your whole energy body being dried by the golden rays of the sun. When the going gets too tough, as it invariably will sometimes, when the days and nights seem too long and you are exhausted, close your eyes for a minute or two and recall your happiest memories with all of your 5 senses. The mind experiences imagination in quite the same way that it experiences reality. And thus, by doing this, you will release happy hormones that will give your mind and body an instant boost, relaxing and uplifting you. So when you move from one sick bed to another, be in the full awareness of your divine potential. Remember, you are God's hands. Let him work through you. Bring your attention to your breath occasionally through your workday and mentally repeat the mantra, I am peaceful, I am calm. Know that your soul has chosen this difficult, this challenging, but extremely noble experience of being a doctor, one that only few are truly capable of. Never compromise on your ethics or personal values. Never be fearful of or subjugated by human authority or bosses who appear to control your destiny. Yes, I will repeat this. I said those who appear to control your destiny, because that is not the truth. You must not allow this to happen, for it limits your potential and eclipses your courage and creativity. The only thing you must fear is mediocrity and minds that are close to possibilities and growth. With the appearance of artificial intelligence, wearables, virtual and augmented reality, and robots, the future of medicine will need brave hearts who drive creativity and empathy across all specialities. If you want to keep with the times, you must not be stymied by authority figures who are still stuck in past ways. Remember, change is the only reality, and you must keep pace to stay relevant and ahead of the curve. The great philosopher J. Krishnamurti often said, all authority of any kind, especially in the field of thought and understanding, is the most destructive evil thing. To be free of all authority of your own and that of others is to die to everything of yesterday, so that your mind is always fresh, always young, innocent, full of vigor and passion. It is only in that state that one learns and observes closely. And for this, a great deal of awareness is required. Actual awareness of what is going on inside yourself, without correcting it or telling it what it should or should not be, because the moment you correct it, you have established another authority, a censor within you. An important insight a doctor once shared with me was this. You learn so much at med school, but you are not taught how to deal with your own feelings, your anxiety, and your stress. No one wants to talk about the fear and pressure of grades or the politics involved in performance evaluation, but it creates an unhealthy level of unconscious stress that can weigh you down to the level of burnout. Unless you are self-aware, your way of being with others, your behavior can become quite toxic or unpleasant. Your spoken and unspoken reactions to people and patients can be disconcerting without you even realizing it. And therefore, decompressing yourselves regularly or following a mindfulness practice is really important in high-stress jobs such as yours. You must embrace a daily spiritual practice, a personal sadhana for your own preservation, even if it is just 5 minutes a day. The ego mind will at times make you feel frustrated, even fed up. And at such times, recall the endless wealth of blessings that you are receiving from all those you serve. सबसे बड़ी अमीरी पैसे की नहीं, दुआओं की होती है. And your treasure is greater than most others. Gratitude and reverence are the most powerful human currencies, and you are earning them in each breath. The selfless karma that you are performing will not just bring you greater peace and contentment in the here and hereafter, it will also grant your children and your grandchildren many epigenetic boons. In my book, The 7 Karma Codes, I explain how karma affects us all. And I'd briefly like to share a few lines with you all. When a rocket is launched, 3 things happen. First, a potential force contained in the rocket is activated, which sets it into motion. Next, it travels through time and space before it reaches a certain destination or a target point. And when it does, its impact has an effect or a consequence. Now, if that rocket is loaded with a destructive or negative force, it will create suffering on impact. But if that energy is loving and positive, it will bring happiness and joy. Karma works in pretty much the same way. When you think, speak, and act in positive or negative ways, you set a powerful force into action that impacts your future, both in this lifetime and in the lives to come. Everything that happens to you is a force that you yourself have set into motion. And so does bad karma always harm us? Now, that's a brilliant question, Precious. And the answer is fairly complex because it involves the deeper motivations or intentions of the person performing that karma. Let us examine a case where we have hurt someone, but we are unaware that our behavior has caused them pain. The auditors of karma who are watching this event will do 2 things. First, they will investigate to find out if our deeper intent was to hurt that person. If they discover it was merely our ignorance that caused the pain, we will still get negative marks for hurting a soul brother or sister, but the penalty will be a lot less than if we had intentionally hurt someone. Secondly, they will make a note in our soul syllabus manual that this is a future lesson we need to learn so we can become more sensitive and empathic towards other people's pain. When the time comes to plan our next birth, our heavenly counselors will advise us to design a human experience where we are able to feel exactly what the person we unintentionally hurt may have felt. This allows us to sensitize our soul and expand its quality and experience. I pray that all your efforts may bear great fruit. I pray that you may have great strength to perform your duties with love and compassion. And I pray that your loved ones may benefit greatly by the services and peace that you are bringing to God's other children. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.